Welcome to the very first Nashville Art Makers Artist Interview. Today we'll be interviewing Beth English in downtown Nashville at the Dunn Brothers Cafe. Come on, let's talk to Beth. All right, welcome to Nashville Art Makers. Right now with me is Beth English, a Nashville local artist, and we're going to start this interview. This is the inaugural interview, by the way. So you ready, Beth?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, a quote of yours that I received off your Facebook page says, "My greatest inspiration comes from music. It is my portal to the divine." So my first question is, can you explain for Nashville art makers how music helps you in your creative process, and what is that process like?
Music just helps me forget about everything that's going on, and it clears my mind, and it gets that rhythm going through me, and the energy just makes it stronger when I'm working. So when I'm painting, I really try to use the rhythm and the lyrics and everything about the music to come to me and through me into the work.
All right. So it sounds like it's a kind of almost like a performance piece in a sense. What are some of your favorite musical artists to listen to while you work?
I love listening to Bob Dylan, to blues music, Tom Petty, new artists that I pick up their albums from around town and at songwriter showcases. Just whatever I have laying around my CD player. Yes, I still listen to CDs.
Me too. You mentioned the divine. What role does spirituality or faith play in your art making process?
Well, the only reason I'm doing this is because I feel like this is what God has told me to do. He's given me certain gifts that I feel like shouldn't be wasted, they should be used. And so pretty much that's the only reason why I do any of this. So I try to let God use me to share His love, His message, and hopefully that translates into the work.
This is actually a question off the script here. What moment where you felt like God really told that to you?
Well, I was living in the Virgin Islands and I was working on a sailboat, and I hit my head on the sailboat after a trip, and I had a concussion and had to go to the hospital, and here I was in the middle of nowhere without family, without anyone really to take care of me, and I asked myself, what am I doing? What am I going to do with my life? And I thought if there was anything in the world that I wanted to do, it would be to be an artist. And so I used that moment of weakness and turned it into a new beginning. And that's just when I decided that this was my chance to really explore my passions and go after them.
So it sounds like God knocked some sense into you.
He did. He did.
Very cool, very cool. What subjects interest you the most in art making?
I love color, I love texture, I love playing and experimenting. I love coming up with things that are different, that I've never seen of or heard before, and just trying to just be creative and have fun with it. Because whenever I'm working on something that is difficult, or it just seems like I'm forcing it, it becomes not fun anymore. And the whole reason why I'm doing it in the first place is to enjoy myself and to have fun doing it. So I really keep that in the forefront of my mind when I'm working, because that comes through with the art.
Yeah, I think that's key.
If it's forced, it's gonna look that way, you know.
Exactly. If it's more of a job than it is being creative, it's sometimes can be stale. You're also known around town for using mixed media in your artwork. What criteria do you use to deem a particular object or medium worthy to use in your work?
It could be anything. I'm not that serious when it comes to all this stuff. I'm just like, most of the time it's what's around me, what can I use? Do I recycle products? Do I use an old painting that has cool texture and paint over it, and maybe it comes into something new? You know, I totally believe in happy accidents, so I just sort of let it evolve, and whatever is around me, I grab it and use it.
Oh yeah. Now, this is kind of some basic questions to get people to get to know you a little better, but is there any one iconic artist of today or the past that you feel like you relate to? If so, who?
That's a tough question because I love all types of art, and when I went through art history in school, I connected with all of them because they all had this little crazy gene in them that made them do what they do, and I think that's what I relate to the most, is that sort of off the wall part of their personality or in their spirit that makes them do the work that they do. And so I love artists that just go out there and do something different. Right now I love Banksy, and I think all his street art is amazing.
Okay.
And I love my mind's going to blank, Warhol, just because his use of commercial products and images in his art. I'm really excited about getting into using more ready-made products in my work.
Okay. Okay. Well, Warhol will be here in Nashville this summer. So.
Excited about that.
Yes.
At the Frist?
That's right, at the Frist.
The
Summer
one and
show.
only.
The one and only. Okay. Tell me a little bit more about Port Arthur, Texas.
It's a small oil refining community. It has lots of different ethnicities that live there. We're one big melting pot. I grew up going to public school there, and it was tough, but it was a good place to grow up.
When did you first know you wanted to be an artist out there?
Well, being an artist really wasn't on my plan. When I was still in school, I was still kind of like...
So that really showed up out there?
Later on, when I felt more free to be who I wanted to be, not who I felt like everyone else thought I should be, because I kind of went down that path for a long time.
So when you were in Port Arthur and as a child, as a teen and all that, you didn't really want to be an artist, or didn't think what is it that you thought you wanted?
I thought I'd be like a CEO or something in the business world. That's where I went to business school.
Okay.
And I really thought that, making money was very important, and the only way to do that was to work for a corporation somewhere. I mean,
all that.
it's just hard to know what you want to be when you grow up, when you haven't really experienced life.
Exactly. Why did you move to Nashville, and when?
I moved to Nashville in October 2007. When I was living on the island, I met my fiance, Chad, there, and we both decided that we wanted to move to Nashville together. So we moved back to the States, and we wanted to pursue songwriting and music. And what a better place than Nashville. I had already lived in Austin for 5 years, and we had visited there and knew that I didn't want to go back there. I wanted to try something new, and so we came to Nashville without a job, without a place to live, and just did it.
Made it happen. That sounds a very familiar story for folks that live in Nashville or come to Nashville. How would you describe the Nashville art scene?
It's thriving. It's booming. It's great. There's lots of energy. It's creative. It's wonderful. I mean, for anyone who's creative, this is the place to come. It's like creativity everywhere between musicians and songwriters and artists, and it's just amazing. It amazes me that
It is pretty amazing.
there's so many people concentrated in this little town that
They're all
creative, all love sort of the same thing, and we're all here just trying to make our dreams come true.
Are there, who are some of the artists here in Nashville that inspire you?
Herb Williams, he's amazing. I love his crayon sculptures. He's great. He's great. A lot of other artists like Jeff Bertrand, his work ethic is so incredible. He's always making new stuff all the time in shows, and it's just so inspiring to see people who are just adamant about what they want out of life, and they just continue to go after it.
Okay.
Love it.
That's great. Now I know that you have an association with the Nashville Arts Magazine. Can you tell us a little more about that?
I started writing for the magazine in 2010 in August. They ran across my blog and they liked it and asked me to write for them. And so I've written a few articles that have been published, and I hope to write many more. But if they have something that they're gonna want in the magazine, they just throw it at me, and I started doing interviews, and I go along with the photographers and I interview whoever it is, whether it's a new emerging artist, or last time I interviewed some high school students. So.
Okay. we got about 3 more questions here, and we're gonna wrap it up here with Beth. This one is very key to what's going on right now. So can you tell me more about the street art and what you're doing with that?
Well, I watched the Exit Through the Gift Shop documentary, was completely blown away by the street art that those artists are doing. And I thought, well, we don't have anything like that. There's not like a real movement towards that in our community. There's public art and there's art galleries, and I just really felt like I wanted to do this. But I didn't want to do it illegally because I keep reading online artists getting arrested and there's fines, and I didn't want to get involved in that. So what I've been doing is contacting local businesses and people who, have real estate that I could possibly use for something like this. And it's going to be graphic images of people playing guitars like the ones up here, but a full-size version of it, of the person playing. So it's actually like you pass by and you see it and you're like, what's that? And it's kind of like, makes you kind of think a little bit. But I just want them peeking around the buildings all over the place.
Very cool, very cool. What is, so that's pretty much sounds like what's coming up around the bend for you and what you're doing. So my last question for you today, it's kind of a little bit of a 2-part question, but nothing too heavy. Where do you want to be in 2015 and then in 2025?
5 years from now, that's a really hard question. I mean, right now I'm working on the street art because I want to get out of the gallery space and get out of the art show scene, do something different on my own, and so hopefully that'll be bigger. I'm getting more involved in the public art with the Metro Nashville Arts Commission, so hopefully have more experience in that and doing more public art installations. And then I'm also working on an album right now and trying to write more and sing, so hopefully.
Tell us a little more about the album real quick.
The album is it's a duo with me and my fiance Chad, and we're singing gospel blues, a lot of Mississippi John Hurt songs, and originals.
Very cool.
And we're getting married September 24th. And
all right. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hopefully going to have the album finished by then so that we can give it away as wedding gifts or perform the songs at the rehearsal dinner or the reception. I'm not sure, but I want to be further along with that.
Awesome.
So I want to have an album recorded. I want to have some public art installed.
Okay.
And I want to write more, and I want to bring the art and music communities together here more through my blog and online communities, and support each other. And
okay.
Let's do it.
What about 2025?
I'll be having 3 babies by then. I want.
Are there kids, do you think? Is that something?
Oh yeah, for sure. And then I think probably my whole view on art and life will completely be changed, and I'll be on a new path by then. But I love change. I love growth. I just want to keep it moving, keep it going. Who knows?
All right, Beth. Real quick before we go, if you go ahead and turn to the camera, and just tell them where we can find your work, where we can get in touch with you, your blog. Go ahead and promote that. Say bye, and we will wrap this up.
You can see my work portfolio and purchase my prints and original art on my website at www.benglish, that's INGLISH, art.com, and my blog is bethenglish.com. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter, and I hope to connect with you soon.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for the first inaugural Nashville Art Makers artist interview. You can find us at our blog at www.nashvilleartmakers.blogspot.com and come and check it out. And next month we will have another artist, and more details will be on the blog for that. Thanks, and have a wonderful day. Bye.